Hello everyone. Let's just test the equipments. Everyone can hear me, see me, everything good? Excuse me. We got Joshua. Hello brother, how was your day? Matt. Hello brother, how was your day, Matt? Matt, nice introduction, very professional. Thank you so much, Matt. I try. I try sometimes. We got Matt, we got Joshua. Joshua, how's your day? What did you get up to? Anything new, anything interesting? Let's see how many other people join in. Who else is on the chat? How's my video, audio, everything coming up good, guys? Okay, let's see, we got 6 people watching. Everyone watching, just throw in your comment, introduce yourself. That would be good. We can interact with each other and learn together. Okay. Alright, basically, let's go. As long as my video audio is good, can you just say yes or no so I can keep going here and start the day? Joshua, can you hear me? Can you listen to me? And my video coming up good? Excuse me. Okay. Okay, Joshua says yes. Thank you for that, Josh. Okay, so everything is good. Let's go. So today we got a Hyundai, what is this? A Terracan. All right, let me go and find out what year it is for you guys. Looks like it's a 2003 model. It's a V6 engine under the hood, petrol V6. The problem with the car is, well, there's a few things here, but I don't think we're going to get into it. Basically, customer said there was a, I don't know, something happened to the car. I'm not too exactly sure what they felt and what was the complaint. But they went to a few mechanics, or 1 or 2 mechanics nearby, and then they told them it's got a head gasket issue. And then car come in on a tow truck, and then I don't see any head gasket issue so far. I mean, it was down in water. I topped it up a little bit, but I can feel the misfire constantly all the time there. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. So we're just going to probably focus on the misfire today. Let's see if we can figure this out. We can go the easy route, or we can go the hard route. Okay, whatever you guys want me to do, I'll get it done. Okay, you want me to try different types of testing methods, or just get into it, start swapping plugs, maybe swapping the coils? Up to you guys. Matt says, yes, nice and clear, brother. No problem at all. Thank you for that, Matt. Okay, what should we do? Currently, I don't see any check engine light, right? I haven't actually scanned the car, so I don't know if there's going to be a fault code or not. But currently, I'm not seeing any engine light on the dashboard. Okay, that's where we at. Anyone else joining in? So where should we start? Josh, Matt, whoever else is on the chat, let's go. Let's see what we can figure out. Where should we start? What do you guys want me to do first? Do you want me to show you quickly the misfire? I don't know if the camera is going to pick up, but I can quickly show you there is a misfire. All right, let me go and do that first. DJ says, hi all. Hello, DJ. Welcome, brother. Welcome. DJ, if you missed it, we're basically dealing with a misfire issue here. I haven't done nothing to it. Let's get into it. You guys can help me and we can sort of together fix this car, okay? It could be just a very simple, coil issue. We don't know. We'll see, but all right, I'm just gonna go and start the car. This is a 2003 model Hyundai Terracan with a V6 petrol engine in it. So let me go and start the car now. All right. I don't know if you can see, the engine is shaking, right? I can definitely feel a constant misfire, maybe one cylinder only. I don't know how good was that camera picked up that video, but the car is misfiring and it's shaking. Looks like one cylinder misfire. It's a constant misfire, doesn't matter idle or revving situation. Also, there was a bit of a hesitation when you start, but I know about this. I had this car a while ago and I told the customer it's going to need an idle controller. Possibly because of that, engine doesn't want to start right first go, but I'm not sure. It could be related. They still could have a head gasket issue. I do not know. Now, one more thing. When I first started the car, I'm inside the shop, so enclosed environment. I can smell fuel, okay? That's a hint there. I can smell fuel when I first started the car. All right, Joshua has a comment. Can you scan and maybe drop cylinder with scan tool? We can try. It's a 2003 model. May not have that activation on the ECU, but I can definitely try it. Okay, so is that what Joshua wants? Let's just try that anyway. So I'm gonna go and hook up my scan tool now, and let's see what we can find. All right. All right, go diagnosis. Hyundai. I don't think I can read the VIN number. Actually, before I go ahead, I always wanted to ask this question, see if someone knows about this. Okay, I was always wondering. See at the very top right hand corner where there's a voltage 12.3 voltage reading with the battery sign at the right hand top upper corner. And next to it, it says VCMI, which is my the interface for the Bluetooth interface for my scan tool, which is fine. When it's connected, it says green tick. Next to it, looks like a cloud or a car maybe, and it's got a green tick. Sometimes it comes up with a cross, and sometimes it comes with a tick. a red cross or the green tick. Can someone tell me what that is? I'm always wondering. Okay. DJ Joshua says injectors leak down on them too. Injectors leak down on them too. You saying it could be that problem? Maybe, Josh. I don't know. Looks like I got a bird in my shop. Just flew across. Jesus, it's a big bird. Anyway. Yeah, okay. So if someone can tell me what that is on the scan tool, that would be great because I'm always wondering. Manual, let's go general maybe. Let's try Terracan TT. Terracan 2003 model, G3.5, gasoline. Joshua has a question while I scan these faults. Hard start and fuel smell but not related to miss. Hard start and fuel smell but not related to miss. Yeah, maybe, because of the injector leaking, it's hard to start, but is it related to misfire? We don't know, maybe, maybe not. It's not like it's pouring out cloud of smoke, so the injector is leaking all the time. I don't know. I don't see a big cloud of smoke, but yeah, definitely possible there. Car is 20 years old, almost, so definitely injector could be leaking. Okay, let's go and see, scan the faults. I'm just scanning everything quickly. Okay, this car is scanning. We got AB, which is your airbag. There's two faults on the AB, but I'm not too worried about it today at all. Okay, let's go to the engine computer. We're only interested on the engine computer. Unleaded. And let's go trouble codes. There's no trouble codes. Let's go live data. Okay, DJ says, look at the fuel injector pulse, short-term and long-term data. Okay, we can do that. DJ, no problem at all. We have 6 people watching. 6 people watching. Okay, DJ has a comment, fuel injector pulse, short-term and long-term trim data. Okay, definitely we can check that out. On the scan tool, we'll see we got some oxygen sensor data, anything to do with the misfire. Let's see, injection time, short-term, long-term. We don't actually have any misfire data here. Let's go active test. We got cylinder disable, injector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fuel pump, and other stuff. So there is injector disable fault, definitely. We can try that if we want. Okay, so where should we go from here? DJ, do you have a pulse sensor that you can stick in the tailpipe to see if you can narrow down the misfire? Yeah, I have a pulse sensor. We can also do that too. Look, if it's going to be an easy misfire diagnosis, we can always, you know what I'm saying, try different methods of trying to get to the same problem. You do know what I'm saying? So we can try that too if we got time today. So from here, let's see how quickly can we get to the misfire. What can we do? So DJ has 2 comments. pulse sensor and check the fuel trim data. Definitely fantastic, fantastic diagnostic procedure there. That's no problem. All right, I'm just waiting for Joshua. I think Joshua has said earlier, can we use the cylinder drop test? Maybe should we do that first, because the scans tool is hooked up. It's pretty easy right there. I think we can disable the injector. Sometimes they may not work, but we can see. The easiest route first. We got the scan tool hooked up already anyway. I'm going to start the car and I'm going to do some cylinder disable, injector disable on the scan tool, and let's see if we can figure it out. All right, here we go. All right, cylinder 1. I can feel the RPM dropping there on cylinder 1. Okay, let's go cylinder 2. I can also hear the RPM drop on cylinder 2 as well. Cylinder 3. I can hear the RPM drop on the cylinder 3 as well. Cylinder 4. I can hear that dropping as well. Cylinder 5 is dropping as well. Cylinder 6. Let's go. Let me go back to cylinder 5 again. Yes, it's definitely dropping. Let this engine settle a little bit. Maybe the cylinder 6 could be our issue here. Let me get the RPM back up. Okay, that's smooth now. Definitely nothing dropping on number cylinder 6. Number 6 cylinder has no drop. Okay, try again. Start. I got no drop on that number 6 cylinder. Okay, there we at. We have number 6 not dropping this RPM. Prasanna is on the chat. Hello Prasanna, hello everyone. Prasanna says, hello brother. DJ says, before you do anything, look at the trims, look at the O2 sensor, bank 1 data. Before you do anything, look at the trims. Yeah. And look at the O2 sensor bank 1. No problem, DJ, we can do that. San, hi San, Shan. Yeah, DJ says hello to Prasan, San, no problem. Okay. Okay, anything else before I do what DJ has suggested? Check the O2 trims and data. By doing the cylinder drop test, we already kind of identify that number 6 could be at fault. But let's forget that, okay? We're trying to get to it as many ways as possible. What if the scan tool didn't give you that option, right? So we could go the different route. You know what I'm saying? So just forget that test. We know it's a 6, but let's just forget that for now. Okay, I'll just wait for a few more comments. DJ has a comment. You will know if it's fuel related or ignition misfire by your trim. Definitely no problem. Okay, looks like we don't have many people watching at the moment. So let's not wait for any more chats. Let's just go and do the fuel trims. Okay, I'm gonna go and start the car now, and let's check some fuel trim data, right? All right, let me put the camera up. So basically, like I said in the beginning, I can smell fuel. I can smell fuel when the car starts, when it's running. So we know maybe the fuel is not our issue. But again, like I said, let's just figure out different ways of doing this testing. Okay, DJ says, is it a misfire related to ignition or fuel? Definitely DJ, we're gonna do that now. Let's go do it. So I'm gonna go back to live data and let's see what type of live data we can see. All right, so we got fuel trims, short term, long term, short term, long term. Let's go have a look at the oxygen sensor. Bank 1, sensor 1, bank 2, sensor 1. It doesn't give me sensor 2, it only gives me sensor 1, so may not have a rear O2 sensor on this one. Okay, so there you go, there's our numbers there. So I'll let everyone look at the data, like here, think about it. What could be at fault here? And then we go from there. So there you have the data up on the screen, guys. Have a look at it. What do you think? I'll just wait for a couple of responses. I just want everyone to get into the same page, and you know, obviously you probably already know this stuff. Maybe you don't know this stuff, but for people who don't know this stuff, you know, let's take it slow and let's just make sure everyone's getting it. Prasanna says, I agree with DJ. Yes, definitely, I do agree with DJ as well. But when it comes to fixing cars, guys, you know what I mean. When it comes to fixing cars, there's not always one way. There's multiple ways to do the same thing. So let's just hear everyone out. Let's try everything everyone has to offer here. Joshua says, do that. Do what, Josh? Do what? All right, that's our fuel trim data, guys. So looking at the fuel trim, you can see, right? O2 sensor, bank 1 is sitting very high. Bank 2 is sitting, let me just graph that out. So bank 1 is definitely high, bank 2 is kind of going up and down, yeah, better than the bank 1, you can see, right? So bank 1 is definitely very high. It's not dropping below 600, 800. It's not dropping below that compared to my bank 2 is actually cycling. It's not the best waveform I've seen, graphs I've seen, but it's at least going up and down better than bank 1, sensor 1. Right now we got fuel trim here, short-term fuel trim bank 1, long-term fuel trim bank 1, same on the bank 2 and bank 2. All right, I'll just pause that real quick and then I'll turn the car off. Like I said, guys, I can definitely smell fuel as the car is running. Okay, let me see what comments are coming in. I agree with DJ. Go to EOBD. Prasanna says go to EOBD. Yes, I know what you're getting into. But can you clarify, Prasanna, on the chat what you want to see on EOBD? You know, I kind of know what you want to know, but maybe for the other audience, they might not know what you're talking about. Okay, DJ, Bank 1 trims are different from Bank 2. Okay, yeah. I was kind of doing the videos. I didn't even look at the scan tool, to be honest. ECU. Issue is, DJ says, issue is pulling fuel on one bank and taking away from the other bank. Yep, we can definitely look at that. I have the scan tool paused here. So let's just see what we can find here. So I'm not too worried about the, let's say bank 1 sensor, 1 oxygen sensor is rich. So that kind of indicates maybe the issue is on bank 1, right? Let's just take it slow here. It kind of indicates the issue here is on bank 1 cylinder. Is that what I'm getting at here? Right? But the bank 2 says bank 2 was pretty good. The oxygen sensor cycling was pretty good compared to bank 1, right? Bank 1 is sitting high pretty much the whole time. So that suggests maybe the bank 1 has the issue. Is that correct? But when we do the drop test on the injector, it was number 6 look like. So number 6 is not on bank 2 though, bank 1 though, is on bank 2, isn't it? So someone can clarify that. All right, let's go down here. We got short-term fuel trim bank 1, long-term fuel trim bank 1. So negative 12%, add that 4%, so I'm doing this to math, right? 4.7 minus 12% is about what, 8%, right? So which is not bad. Up to 10% is pretty good. About 8% sitting on bank 1, but the bank 2 is sitting at 0.8 and 12.5%. So it's actually adding fuel on bank 2. Is that what it means? Yes. Looks like exactly. The bank 2 is adding fuel and the bank 1 is taking fuel away. So bank 2 is adding 12% fuel. Bank 2 is taking away 8% of fuel. Okay? That's what it looks like to me. What do you guys think here? What do you guys think here? Okay? So the bank 1 is roughly 8% negative fuel trim. Bank 2 is positive 12%, 13%. DJ has a comment. Create a vacuum leak to see how the short-term fuel trim looks, or do a snap throttle to see what the long-term is doing. Yeah, so what we're trying to achieve here by doing that, DJ, create a vacuum leak to see how the short-term fuel trim looks, or do snap throttle to see what the long-term is doing. Okay, I'm trying to understand at the same time. Like I said, I'm doing too many things at the same time here. So sometimes when I read the comment, it just goes poof. I can't even understand. I'm doing too many things. But anyway, what do you think, guys? Josh, looking at the fuel trim data and everything, what do you guys think here? I'm going to go and start the car again and let this data roll as you guys watching it. To be honest, looking at the data, I don't see a real huge issue with the fuel trim here. One's sitting 12-13%, a little bit rich on bank 1, which we can see. I don't know why my oxygen sensor data, now it's working. You can see on the oxygen sensor bank 1, right, it's running rich all the time here. Bank 1, it's kind of coming down slowly now, but it's kind of rich compared to the my bank 2, right? But and my fuel trim suggests that my bank 1, now bank 1 is definitely going up 21%, 20%, definitely add that with the long term, that's almost 30% negative on bank 1, and the bank 2 is positive 24, positive 32, 36% there. All right, what's going on here? All right, I'm just gonna go and rev the car a little bit. I'll keep the revolution up there. I'm revving up about 2000. I'm holding 2000 RPM. My bank 1 kind of stuck at 420. It's a very, very slow response here on the scan tool. And my bank 2 is around, they're not very cycling very good here. Okay, anyway, my short term, I'm revving about 2,500 RPM. Short term on the bank 1 is 24%, short term on bank 2 is negative 16%. I'll let that settle down a bit. All right, that's back to idle now. My bank 1 is definitely way negative there. Negative 37%, and my short-term bank 2 is positive 30%. All right, pause that data. Sorry. Resume. Go to sensor, short term, long term. All right, I'll pause that data. Turn the car off. I might damage this catalytic converter by the time I finish this video, but it's okay. All right, that's where we have, guys. There we have it. Prasanna says, what are the injectors millisecond in both bank? I think they have a data, I'm not sure. Let me find out for you. DJ says, both banks supposed to look the same. On is stating that you are rich while the other is saying that you are running lean. Normally a faulty O2 can do this or injector leaking is leaking on one bank. Okay, so you saying, DJ, that my bank 1 is negative 30 something percent, over 30% negative. You saying there is an injector leak on that bank 1, and then on the bank 2, what do we have? We got positive 30%. So what do you say about that? And it's saying that you are rich, while in other is saying that you are running lean. There you go. Yes, so we got rich on one end and the lean on the other end, other side. All right, that's we have. Okay, Prasan wants to see a MS in both bank. I can show you that too, no problem. Let me go and start the car again. I'll show you the MS. That's your MS there, Prasan. 1.8 on bank 1 and 1.5 on bank 2. Prasanna says running engine with misfire could contaminate oil. With HC it could cause rich condition. Yep, that can definitely do that. Alright, there we have the cylinder injector injection time, 2 millisecond on bank 1 and bank 2 says 1.3 millisecond. Alright, let's turn the car off. Alright, so where we at, guys, with our diagnosis? So far, what have we figured out here? So far, we've figured out that my bank 1 is rich, right? There is no trouble codes whatsoever. Let's try that just in case the trouble code has come back. I didn't see, there's no trouble codes. It's an older system, right? They're not always going to throw you a fault code. And then we got a rich bank 1, and we could see that rich bank 1 and the lean bank, sorry, we got a rich bank 1 and the lean bank 2, okay? That's where we at. And when we did the active test on the cylinder injector balance, injector disabled test, we thought the number 6 was doing nothing. So we still, I'm seeing the bank 2 has the issue. Number 6 injector is not doing anything, according to my active test. Okay, that's where we're at. What's next, guys? What do you guys want me to do? Let me do one more time the active test with the injector balance, okay? Maybe we missed something on bank 1, because clearly it shows me the number 6 has the issue. Okay, let me do that real quick again. Alright, injector number 1. I can feel the misfire. I can hear it. Try again. Definitely dropping the RPM there on number 1 injector. Try number 2. It's dropping the RPM. Number 2 again. Dropping the RPM. I'll try number 3. It's also dropping that RPM. Number 4. Try again. I don't know about number 4. Let me do it again. It is definitely dropping, but not very pronounced there, number 4. Number 5 is 100% dropping. Let's try number 6. Try again. Nothing. No drop at all. Number 4 again, one more time. Definitely dropping the RPM there. Okay, so number 6, that's what the scan seal is telling me, this fuel disable test. DJ says, create a vacuum leak and see what the trims are doing to confirm which O2 or bank is lying. If the bank 2 goes more lean, you may have a vacuum leak. If the bank 2 goes more lean, pop that up again. Create a vacuum leak and let's see what the trims are doing to confirm which O2 or bank is lying. If bank 2 goes more lean, you may have a vacuum leak on that side or the O2 is lying. Yeah, definitely. DJ says ignition misfire don't affect the fuel trim as much as a stuck or leaking injector or a mass airflow sensor fault, which will affect both banks. Yep. But this is older car, DJ, so in older cars they may not have an intelligent strategy from the computer to disable injectors when there is a misfire, ignition misfire. So a lot of the newer cars do have the disabled injectors whenever there is ignition misfire, so to save the catalytic converter and whatnot. But a lot of the older cars, you do see the fuel trim go very high when there's an ignition misfire. Okay, so Prasanna says, did you look at the number 6 plug and coil and plug swap test might help? Yes, we can do definitely that. But looks like it's a little bit difficult one to get to. Okay, I'll quickly show you. So right here, it doesn't look very easy to do a quick test. It's a V6. Everything is under that manifold. We got some cover sitting there. We may have to pull that cover out to do our swap or testing on the coils. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. But where we can do that, we can get to it at some point. And plug swap test might help. Okay, that's where we at. All right, give me some easy testing here, guys. This is what we're dealing with. I want to go the easiest route. I don't want to go, you know, pulling everything apart just to figure it out. Okay, ignition coil is not the problem. I just want to find out exactly which cylinder is misfiring before I want to go in. So if it was a 4-cylinder engine, everything on the top, right, I can quickly swap everything around, do my testing, whatever not. But this is a V6. So on some V6s, you can never get to the back plugs. That's just without taking the intake manifold off. So that could be the case too. So we gotta figure out which ones could be at fault, and then we keep going from there. Prasanna said before, look at the OBD data. Okay, Prasanna, I can show you that. Just let me know what you want me to look for on OBD data. Just give me 30 seconds, guys. I'll be back real quick. Prasanna says, is compression okay? It sounds okay, Prasanna. It sounds okay, but I can quickly start the car with the fuel disabled. I'm going to go and take the fuel relay off and we can hear if there is a compression issue or not. Alright, the relay box is right here. Let me just find the relay or fuse, whatever I can find here for the fuel. Okay, fuse number 9, 20 amps, fuel pump. Okay, so that one right there. Let me unplug it. I'm going to go and crank the car and let's hear it if there's any compression issue. Let me just get rid of that leftover fuel from the rail. Alright, it's strange. It's even if I disable that fuel relay, it tries to start. It does try to start. I can't really just crank it. I've definitely disabled the fuel pump fuel pump fuse here. It still tries to start. Try again. You can hear it. It's definitely, the cranking is good. Doesn't sound like there's a compression issue just by listening to it, but it tries to start even with the fuel disabled. That's what I can feel here. There we at. I've disabled the fuel, but the car tries to start. Okay, that's where we at. But however, the compression sounds good unless I take the injector fuse off. Even so, is that gonna eliminate my leaking injectors if I take the injector fuse, if there is one? So I can't really do a compression check by listening, Prasan. But it's tried to start. Let me find that injector fuse and I'll disable the injector. Let me see if that helps with the cranking. Okay, let me do that. Alright, I got my login. Let's find our car here, Hyundai Terracan. Fuses and relay. me just see the wiring diagram, see if you can find a fuse for that injectors. Okay, I think there's my injectors. Yep. So let's follow those injectors and see where that power comes from. We go this way. It goes just everywhere. Where's my power coming for my injectors? Okay, I think right here. So comes from my engine control relay or fuse 5. So engine control relay or fuse 5. Looks like that is my power supply for my injector, guys. Okay, so let's go find that relay. Engine control relay or fuse 5. Well, I cannot see that relay. It says after 2004, so we may be wrong here with our wiring. Okay, engine bay. Engine control relay. Engine control relay, fuse 5, which is my other fuse box. So there must be 2 fuse boxes in this car. Yeah, there's one right next to it. Let's try checking there for my relay. Engine ECU relay 20 amps. Let me take that engine ECU relay 20. Let me see if I can crank it. I don't know if it's gonna let me crank or not without that fuse, but let me see. That's definitely better cranking. Definitely sounds better with that fuse off. Okay, let me put that fuse back on. And I don't hear any compression loss, just hearing it, obviously, without putting any meter or testers there. Let me crank it with that fuse back on. I may have to disable the fuel pump fuse again. Alright, fuel pump fuse 20 amps. Alright, let me start it back up. It tries to start. It's not as smooth as it was, okay? Cranking is definitely different with the injector power disabled, or the engine power disabled anyway. Alright, that's where we at. Alright, any guys, any suggestion, anything? Where should we go next? That's where we at. Alright, to me it looks like we could definitely have a fuel leaking issue here. Otherwise, why would the engine crank like that? with the fuel fuse disconnected. But there is no fuel in the rail, right? Even if the injectors are turning on while cranking. Okay, any ideas? Okay, next, what should we do here? Okay, let me go back to my OBD. Prasanna has a question, comment here. I guess due to misfire on bank 1, then issue adds fuel to both banks, that's why opposite trim. Misfire on bank 1, then issue adds fuel to both banks, that's why opposite trims. Okay. No problem, but according to our injector drop test, it's number 6. So number 6 is bank 2, right? So the bank 2 has misfired, looks like, to me anyway. I could be thinking wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. All right, I think we should really identify exactly which cylinder is misfiring at this stage before we go any further. So what other ways we can do? The misfire detection here? Which cylinder? Identify the cylinder. What other ways can we do? The injector drop disable test shows me number 6. The fuel trim is all over this place. One's of too lean, one's too rich. Okay. So, but you guys are saying bank 1 is misfiring. You guys can clarify why do you think bank 1 is misfiring? Clearly, according to the injector drop test, it's a number 6. Okay, and then I can smell fuel when it's running, when you start the car. Okay, with the fuel pump fuse off. So there's no fuel getting into the rail. And I've got to crank the engine tries to start. Okay, it doesn't want to shut down, like crank like there's no fuel. It tries to start, continues to do it. So until I pull the fuse off for the injector and the ECU, probably the same fuse. So when I pull that fuse out, now it sounds cranking like there's nothing. So this is what we're dealing with. Josh just come in on the chat. So that's what's happening, Josh. So I took the fuse off the fuel pump and then cranked the engine to hear the noise of the compression, and engine continues to try to start. It doesn't obviously fire upright like that, but it tries to start at times, right? And then I pull the fuse off the injector, which is also the fuse for the engine control, engine ECU as well. When I pull that fuse off, engine cranks smoothly, like as in it cranks without trying to fire, if you know what I mean. Okay, DJ says pulse sensor with the scope through the tailpipe to narrow down the misfire. Yep, I think we can do that. Pull the wire off the coil. I can't get to the wire of the coil just yet because there's a covers manifold there, so I can't get to the wires just yet. Josh, correct. Prasanna says, correct, due to misfire on bank 2, then it issue adds fuel to both bank, that's why opposite trim. Okay, what Prasanna trying to say here, let me just quickly think about it. So the bank 2 has a misfire, and issue adds fuel. So you're talking about the injector misfire. So there's not enough fuel on bank 2, right? That's what you're saying. Then issue adds fuel for the bank 2 to compensate. But not only that, it also puts fuel for the bank 1 as well. So you're saying now we're going to have rich bank 1 and possibly normal or the lean bank 2, is that what you're saying? Rich bank 1 and lean bank 2. I think that's what Prasanna is trying to say here. Okay, let's go to OBD data like Prasanna suggested earlier. Let's see if you can find something there. Okay, I think we did see that OBD options here. I don't know if that's going to give me OBD or not. Let's try that anyway. Trouble code's not there, obviously. Live data. I don't think there's any difference here. I'll just go back all the way to OBD. Completely out. Change the vehicle. Go to OBD and we'll just scan that. Okay, Josh, did you understand what I said with the cranking? When I take the fuses off, there's a difference here. So if I only pull the fuel pump fuse, it continues to try to start. Prasanna's ignition, secondary ignition test also might help. Okay, where can I do this on this car? Prasanna, I showed you the engine bay. How can I tap into the secondary? All right, we got live data on my eOBD. Okay, let's just scroll through. Fuel trim data, I'm just looking for anything that sticks out. O2 monitoring, excuse me. It doesn't support, okay, great. Doesn't support that as well. OBD monitor doesn't support as well, so there's nothing here I can do on the OBD. Nothing I can do on the OBD here, guys. Alright, let me go back to the same vehicle we were testing earlier. And to the vehicle specific data here. Anyway, Prasanna, how can we tap into this secondary? This is a coil overclock design I can see. It's got 3 wires on the coil, on each coils. The secondary is buried under the cover. So I don't think I can get to it even if I wanted to. So right now what we're trying to do here is to identify exactly which cylinder is misfiring. Okay, that's where we're at. Alright, I think what we should do is, like DJ has suggested, let's do the pressure pulse through the exhaust tailpipe. Okay, let's do that. Let's see what we can figure out here. So let me go and set up a couple of things here, guys. While I do that, I'll let you watch that O2 data and all that at the same time. Okay, I'll start the car and I'll set up some equipment here. Let me put that fuse back in for the fuel pump. Okay, right now my fuel trim doesn't look too bad, right? I'm going to turn that car off and let me show you the setup here quickly. Yeah, so basically I have put my WPS 500 into the tailpipe, so you can see my wires going down to my tailpipe, and there's my WPS 500 pressure sensor, and I'm just gonna get that tailpipe pressure reading for you guys. Okay, so let's go to my picoscope. I'm on channel 3. Let's select my WPS 500, maybe range 2, maybe range 3, maybe. Let's try range 3. I think range 3 is about 1 psi, something like that. Let's go plus minus 5. Let's go 1 second here. All right, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get some pressure reading. Let me go and start the car. All right, starting up. Let me change that to 1 psi. All right, I'm not gonna have to get a sync for this one to know exactly what we're seeing. All right, I'm just gonna get a sync for that real quick, guys. Battery level is low. I'll just get that sync and charge my camera up. Okay, DJ has Josh says you. I don't know what that means, brother. Could have done a relative compression test while the fuse was out, just to confirm that there isn't a mechanical issue, just to make sure that you cover all bases before going further. Yes, we will do that, no problem. We haven't gone very far. So let's take that measurement from the exhaust and we can come back to that compression test if you like, DJ. Okay, so I need a sync. And let's see where we can find that sync for that exhaust pulse. Looks like maybe I can get to that front coil right there. Just maybe. So we got the 3-wire system here. So on a 3-wire system, we have always discussed, right? There's two same color wires going to be my power and earth, and my one different color wire on each coil going to be my control, right? So that's how it's going to be. So I can sort of kind of see the top wire is my sync. So I'm going to just get that sync on this exhaust pulse, okay? Alright, this is going to be my signal coming from the ECU to turn the switch on and off in that coil, right? So I'll probably expect maybe 0.5 or something like that signal, square wave most of the time, 0.4 volt or 0.5 volt. So I'm just going to hook up my channel A, battery negative, for my scope. And then I'm going to go and find that wire and back probe it. Alright, let me see if I can get that signal. Let's turn on my channel A. Let's just go plus minus 10 volts, plus minus 20 volts maybe. I don't think I'm making a good contact there. Let me fix my contact. There we have it. Now, it's super difficult to get at it, but I think we got it now. So that's my signal from the turn on signal from the ECU, right? So we got about 8 volt here. All right, we got 8 volt signal coming in, but there's a double on that. Why is that? There's a double signal there. Okay, I got this double square wave signal. I can't make sense out of it, so if someone have seen it, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to quickly see if my wirings are correct here. Alright, let's find my ignition coil, which is this one's here. No, that's oxygen sensor. Where are you? My coils right here. T1, T2, T3. It's only give me 3 coil. Let me see the design. Did we miss something here? Oh, it is. It is 1 coil for 2 cylinders. Okay, this is a 1 coil per 2 cylinder design. Can't see properly here exactly what I'm doing here. So this is a 1 coil for 2 cylinder design. We only got 3 coils here. You can see coil 1, 2 and 3 right here. We got, like I said, we got power and earth obviously sharing between my 3 coils. We got controls coming from the ECU. So we got some kind of ignition coil signal sensor. I don't know what that means. And we got a ground, common ground for all of it. But where's this power feed coming from here? This wiring diagram is bad. So we got power feed there, power feed there, power feed there, and then goes to this signal sensor. But where is it getting, where is that connected to? Right? That's, why am I not seeing something here? Anyway, basically the 1 coil will fire 2 cylinder here. Okay, that's where we at. 1 coil fires 2 cylinder. Okay, tap the reference signal at the ECU. Yes? You mean the turn on signal at the ECU? I'm not gonna go find ECU on this. I don't know where it's at. Too hard. But 1 wire comes to the coil, and that 1 wire controls 2 sparks. Okay, that's what it is. So it doesn't matter, even if I go to the computer, it's still gonna be 1 wire for 2 coil. Where's spark? I mean, yeah, maybe, maybe not. Looking at my waveform, there was 2 turn on signals showing up side by side. That doesn't look like a spark waste spark system. No, that still is a waste spark system. Yeah, so it's going to fire twice, and 1 going to be waste. You're right. So waste spark system it is. Yes. Prasanna says waste spark system it is. Yes, looks like it's a waste spark system, right? Okay. So how can we get a sync on this one? Think about it, guys. I'm going to go find different ways if there is. I absolutely cannot see what's buried underneath that cover without taking the cover off. At this stage, we may have to take the cover off, to be honest, guys, unless we can get to the injector wires. But the injector is not the best way to do a sync sometimes. And I cannot get to anything else here. So I may have to pull this cover out. Just give me a minute, guys. I'll pull this cover out real quick. Doesn't look very hard on this side. Just a cover and a couple of things here. So I should be fine. Okay. All right, while I'm doing that, I want you guys to look at this system here. 3 coils, 1 control for 2 cylinders. Waste spark system. I want you guys to look at this and kind of make sense for me on the scope while I'm taking that cover off. Everybody's favorite Milwaukee, right? All right, got the bracket out the way. Cool. Now I should be able to rip that cover off. It's broken in pieces already. I don't really care about saving it at this stage. Oof. I'm breaking it all, guys. Oh God, I'm breaking it, everything. All right, hurrah. One piece. Okay, now we can see the coils. There's 3 coils on this side, and the lead, the high tension leads, goes from this end to the other end. Okay, that's where we at. All right, so the number 1 fires, the first coil here fires this and then goes to the other side. Someone has written number 2 or number 1 on the coil there, number 4, number 6. Someone's written number 2 on the coil here, meaning maybe this is your bank 2, cylinder number 2 maybe, right? Can't kind of see here where it's lining up, but we can look that up, no problem. So that's where we at. So one fires both. So what can I do here is we can probably get that out of the way. Probably put the pickup here on this high tension lead going towards wherever. Then we probably know exactly which cylinder that might be, right? Because the other side I can't see. Maybe I'll try to take this side off too. Oh, they make it very difficult, don't they? Okay, anyway, the cover is kind of broken already, so I'll take that cover off on this side as well. Just the heat melting and making plastic go brittle. Now I can definitely see what's happening here. Okay. All right, what else we got on the chat? Prasanna says you have to get dirty to fix it. Yep, definitely. DJ says hi guys, it was nice chatting. Have to head to work. Take it easy. We'll watch the rest of the video later. No problem, DJ. Have a good day. And Prasanna says see you, DJ. All right, that's where we at. Anything you guys like to input before I carry on here? So we got the both side exposed now, kind of, okay? So we got this side. Let's quickly show you. We got this side here. I can see 3 coils side by side, and the high tension lead goes from each coil to the other side, and other side is kind of exposed as well at this stage. All right, that's where we at. So how do you guys want me to approach this now? There's many ways we can do it. Josh says, can you just disconnect the coil? Josh is getting frustrated here. I know, I just want to do it too. But I'm just seeing if there's other ways we can get to it, other ways we can verify it. That's all. But we can get straight to the point. That's no problem either. So basically on the screen you can see we got 2 control happening for 1 coil, okay, because it's a waste spark system. So the same coil has to fire twice for 2 different cylinders per cycle. Let's have a look, see if we can identify which bank is what. We can quickly look at the engine and try to figure it out that way, but if it's here, information, why not, right? So where do we find it? On the technical information, ignition system, firing order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order. This is the front of the engine with the arrow. So the bank 1 is the driver's side and the bank 2 is my passenger side. Prasanna wants to do a visual inspection on my coils and leads. Alright, Josh, which one do you want me to disconnect? Number 6, go straight to the number 6, because that's what the fault code, that's what the injector drop test shows us, right? Prasanna says swap the coil test if coils are same. Okay, alright, I'm gonna go and disconnect the coils here, guys. That's what you want. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go to the driver's side. Let's try 1, 3 and 5, and then we'll go to the passenger side 2, 4 and 6. Okay, right here. Probably like to get this out the way, the air box, so I can get my hands in there maybe. Let me just quickly do that. I'll keep the mass airflow sensor intact. Alright, my box out the way. Get the air filter out the way. Needs a new air filter, guys. Okay. See if I can get to that now. Let me just disconnect that. Turn it around the other way if I can. I don't think I can. Kind of, I can. All right. Connect that mass airflow sensor back up. Okay, there we go. Just a quick visual inspection. I don't see anything bad so far. I'm gonna go start the car. And let's see what happens here. All right, number one. Number one is dropping my cylinder. Number three is also dropping my cylinder. You can see the firing order there, right? 135 on driver side, 246 passenger side. I'm doing the driver side right now. The back one's a little bit hard to get to. Try again. And that one is also dropping my RPM. So let's go to the other side, right? So far looking like that my 1, 3 and 5, the driver side 1, 3 and 5 is good. Now let's go to the 2, 4, 6, and we know 6 is our suspect cylinder. Okay, let's go 2, 4 and 6. So we probably just try disconnecting the coil. We're going to have to lift the coil, isn't it? Is there any other way to do a drop test here without lifting the coil? Because if I disconnect the lead, it's going to make the misfire go that way. How can I do this? Do I have to lift the coil? What do you reckon, Josh? Should I just lift the coil? Or is there a better way to do this? Because if I lift the coil, I'm going to induce 2 misfires, 2 cylinder. Not, sorry, if I, because one coil is connected to both cylinders, so I'm going to, if I lift the coil, I can still able to send spark on the other side. So I think that's what I have to do. So I'm going to have to undo all the bolts on the coil, right? So let me go and do that. They don't make it easy for us, do they? Ever. Because if I just disconnect the coil, the connector, I'm going to induce 2 misfires. So let me try it. Let's see if we can do it without disconnecting lifting the coil. Just disconnect the connector only, right? Let's see what happens. Is that gonna? No, it's not gonna work. I'm still gonna have 2 misfire, isn't it? Let me try anyway. All right, I'm disconnecting the coil. Number 2. number 4, and number 6. Okay, when I disconnect number 6, I have a very small change, not large change as the number 2 and number 4. That one definitely trying to drop the engine very low. And also the first coil here, number 2, is dropping the whole engine rev down, but the number 6 only dropping very little. So that what that tells me is my number 6 is definitely the problem, because the other side of the number 6 is dropping my RPM. All right, that's where we at. Number 6, it's the fault. Try it. Yes, Josh, I just did. So basically 3 coils, right? I'll just quickly demonstrate on the board so some people who's not following me want to understand what I just did. So we got coil number 2, coil number 4, and a coil number 6. Okay, let's just zoom that right in. So that's what we have here, coil number 2 on the number 2 cylinder, right? Coil number 4 on number 4 cylinder, number 6. So they also have a high tension lead going towards the other side. I really don't know what it feeds to. I can probably look up into it, but all 3 cylinders on this bank, let's say number 1, number, let's say 3, and number 3 and a number 5. So this is cylinders. So 3 coil feeds 2 cylinders. So it's a West Spark system. So I only got connector here coming from the wherever computer, right? Computer and power supply. So what I did on this side, we lifted the coil one by one, and they're all dropping at the same rate. So we know this side is working. The bank 1 is working fine, the driver side. However, the passenger side, the bank 2, when instead of disconnecting or lifting the coil, what I did, I disconnect the plug, the electrical plug. So when I disconnect number 2 coil, the RPM dropped a little bit. Sorry, RPM dropped quite a bit because we are disabling 2 cylinders now. Number 4, it dropped quite a bit again, same as the number 1, because we are disabling 2 cylinders again. So when I disconnect the electrical plug on number 6 coil, it dropped only a little bit because we already have a faulty number 6, cylinder 6 misfire, right? So when I disconnect that, however, I am disabling 2 cylinders, I'm only getting a very small change on the RPM. It's because this one's already misfiring. So we're only disabling 1 more cylinder here. So I know our problem is my number 6. So this is our problem, guys. Number 6. Number 6 it is. All right. That's where we at. Weak coil or plug. Yep, definitely could be. Josh says still 6. Looks like it's still a 6, Josh. Lol, drag it out. What am I dragging, Josh? What am I dragging? Now, before we jump into getting into the cylinders and, you know, pulling the plugs out and whatnot, I want to quickly show you that exhaust waveform. Just in case, let's say you're working with a car where you absolutely cannot get to the rear plugs, you know, under the manifold or whatever, we can still kind of get to those conclusion that, okay, we need to get into there because that looks like is the problem. So we can identify the cylinders, right? So let me just quickly do that. It's not necessary for us because we have already identified it's the number 6. But just in case those days when the car come in and, all right, we can't get to those wirings or leads or plugs to disconnect or do a drop test, okay? Let's do that. All right, let me go to my scope now. And let me bring that up. So basically we got channel 3 still on my exhaust, on my exhaust pulse there, and then let's go channel 1. We probably use a probe here, okay, a different probe. So we're gonna use a pickup this time. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this probe before, just to pick up for my secondary, right, on the lead. Just grab the lead and go to my scope. So I'm just going to use that to sync it with number 1. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to use my channel 4 instead of channel 1. So let's go and open up my channel 4. Let's find that secondary probe. And let's just go, I don't know, plus minus 20 kilovolts. All right, I'm going to go and start the car now. All right, I think that's inverted, so let me just go change that. Okay, that's my ignition there, number 1 cylinder firing on the yellow trace at the bottom. Something wrong with my exhaust pulse pressure sensor. Let me try see what's going on. Alright, looks like my batteries died on my pulse sensor, so let me try a different sensor here. Alright, I got some signal up, so I'm just using my delta pressure sensor. So let's just go back there. Let's increase that voltage. Alright, that's what we got, guys. Okay. Okay, let me turn the car off. Okay, just to know, everyone follows what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get an exhaust pulse from the exhaust tailpipe to identify that misfire. We already know it's a number 6 cylinder, but I'm just trying to identify it different ways, just in case ever we're gonna have to pull out that sensor, pressure sensor, to do a diagnostic. Okay, so if you follow me, I'll just walk you guys through, and you'll all make sense, I believe, to everyone. All right, that's where I'm at. Okay. So right here we got my ignition number 1 sink, right up here exhaust. So what we can do is we can zoom it in a little bit here. So let's just take maybe 2 or 3 here, and let's put some rulers. It's a 6-cylinder engine, right? So let's make a 6 partitions here. Let's go maybe there and maybe there. Okay, so this is my 6-cylinder pulses here. This is my number 1, right? So we should have 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6-cylinder. So the firing order, let's go back. Firing order is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is my firing order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back to 1. So this is what we got. Can someone tell me, looking at this, which one is my misfire cylinder? So is it this, is it that one, is it that one, is it that one, or that one? Can you tell me? Start from number 1 here, 0 degree, 120 degree, 240, 364, 80, 600, 720. Can someone tell me, just by looking at that graph, you can tell me which cylinder is misfiring? Alright, so I'm going to have to do something else here too. I'm going to put that overlay program and choose a firing order. My firing order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, sync to number 1 cylinder. Okay, and there we have our overlay. Okay, so let me just fit that in that area somewhere close. Doesn't have to be 100% at all time, just close enough. All right, drop it down right here. So this is what we got. Let's just move that up a little bit. So this is what we got, guys. All right, that's what we have. I'll let you have a look at it and see if you can tell me If you can identify that misfiring cylinder. Prasanna says still cylinder 6 is a miss. We know that. We know that number 6 is a misfire. We know that. But on this picture here, can you identify just by looking at it? Okay? Okay, we're looking at right here, number 6. Exhaust starts somewhere around here. Right? Somewhere around here. So let's say it start dragging down. So that's my number 6. That's my number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and back to number 5 and number 6. Okay, that's what we at. I'll just screenshot that and I'll just explain to you a little bit. This is not going to be a very easy one here, I believe. Okay, so what we're looking at here is so that's my hang on, let me just close that real quick. Try again. I don't know. I think my overlay program is still on. Okay, I'll get that out of the way for a minute. So basically, this is my number 6 cylinder exhaust. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Back to number 6. So this is my exhaust pulse. But looking at this picture, it's definitely, we cannot identify in this case, I don't believe so. Because judging by this waveform, we are seeing number 2 has the number 2 and number 4 has the highest vacuum on exhaust. Right? So usually the misfire cylinder is going to have the highest vacuum pull, right? But we know number 6 is a problem, but number 2 and 4 is showing me too much of a vacuum. So someone has any explanation for this one? Because I don't. I thought we'll see something something definite, unique characteristic there, but definitely there's nothing I can see that I can tell exactly that number 6 is misfiring. It could have some valve issues, you know, the valve clearance issues, so it's not very consistent here. But I cannot say identify this misfire just by looking at that one. Okay. All right, let me get that out of the way. Let me just keep going here for a little bit just for testing. Okay, now I think what we done wrong there is, I'll just explain to you. Now that looks much better and we can definitely identify what's going on there. So what happened was I was using the pressure pulse sensor, right? So what happened was I used too long hose, so there was a delay when the sensor picked up the exhaust pulse. So what I did, I just changed it to a shorter hose. Now I can definitely identify the cylinder here, and I'll show you on the board quickly. Okay, now back to the same picture here. Let me just zoom that a little bit more so we'll have a clear picture. Okay, if you guys following me. All right, so basically this yellow, just follow my cursors. This yellow is my number 1 cylinder. That one is my number 1 cylinder as well. Now let me put the 6 division here so we know it's a 6-cylinder engine, right? And my green is my exhaust pulse. Okay, now let me bring that overlay program again and just put it right there so we know exactly what we're doing. Okay, I'll kind of put close to those lines. So this is going to represent all my 6 cylinders here, right? Okay, so don't worry about the peak of the green, the pressure peak. Just worry about the vacuum side, the pressure below. Okay, that's how you're going to identify the misfire here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cylinder, and this will tell you exactly which cylinder is at what stroke. So we said before, this is my number 1 coil firing here, right? So this is going to be my number 5 exhaust. You can see number 5 exhaust is in this area. This is going to be my number 6 exhaust. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and back to number 5. Okay, so see how this pressure pulse has a very, very large vacuum here, okay, compared to the other ones, right? So this vacuum is only pulling up to here. 6 is the largest vacuum. Number 1 is small vacuum. Number 2 is a smaller vacuum. 3 smaller. 3 and 4 is pretty similar vacuum here. It could have some valve clearance issue, that's why you don't see that consistency. Not only that, when the vacuum the pressure pulls that pressure down like that, it's going to have a higher different characteristic as it bounces up. So there could be some other issues, but you can see all my vacuums are higher than the number 6. So that's how you know that number 6 is at fault. That's the missing cylinder. Now, it's not going to show you if it's a compression issue. If the compression is leaking down into the, let's say, combustion, into the blow-by, into the crankcase, it's not going to show you this. But if there is a good cylinder pressure and everything, and there's a large vacuum on the exhaust pool, now for number 6, that's definitely going to tell you that cylinder is misfiring. It's not burning. Okay. All right, so everyone, what I showed you just on the board, that's just another way to figure it out misfiring sometimes. The first time, like I said, the hose was too long, so there was a delay. By the time the sensor picked up the pressure from the exhaust, there was a delay. So bad idea to use a big, long hoses sometime when you're doing a pressure pulse. Okay. Okay, Josh says, I don't, it's still 6, but lol. We know it's still, we're just having fun, just learning different ways of testing it, okay? Prasanna says, I can remember you have to move 2 steps for 6-cylinder engine for PP testing, pressure pulse testing. 2 steps for 6-cylinder engine. I don't know, man. I can clearly see on the scope right there, it's clearly visible like a day. The most vacuum on the exhaust pulse is always going to be the misfire cylinder, because the piston is coming down, but there's no explosion happen on that piston, on the expansion or on the power stroke, right? And before it gets to the bottom of the BDC, bottom dead center, the exhaust valve will open about 20-30 degrees before the bottom dead center, right? So that's when you're going to pick up that vacuum on a dead misfire cylinder. Okay. Any question, concern? Matt still there today? I don't think Ruben has joined the video live session. Any question, concern? Anything else you want me to do before we go and start swapping the coils and spark plugs, whatnot? Just let me know. I'll just let you look at that screen again, so if you want to understand what's happening. I'll quickly snip that and I'll do a draw. So there's all the, everything is there. Okay, so that's where we at. So basically, this is my exhaust pulse, right? This is my exhaust. This is my ignition number 1. And this is my ignition number 1, 720 degree, right? So we got my exhaust pulse number 5, number 6, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to 5. So right here is the issue, the lowest vacuum on the exhaust compared to the rest of it. Any question, concern before we move on? What else do you guys want me to do now? Anything else? What's the next step going to be here? Joshua said earlier, do a compression test. Do you want me to do a compression test, Josh, still? I don't believe there's anything wrong with the compression, judging by the sound of the engine. I'll just let you look at that screen. If any question regarding the scope data waveform we captured, any question regarding this testing, exhaust pulse testing for misfiring, any question? Do it for fun. What are we doing for fun, Josh? Compression test? Is that what we're doing for fun? Compression test. Okay, compression test coming up. I'm just going to do a relative compression test using my Pico scope, guys. Okay, so let's do it for fun anyway. All right, let's go to my camera. All right, so I'll close all this down, close that down as well. So I'm gonna just go and open my other Pico diagnostic here. Pico diagnostic, there's two softwares. So that one, we're gonna do a compression test using just the test leads. All right, right here, let's go to my compression test. Compression test right there. It's a 6-cylinder engine. Let's select 6-cylinder. Let's start. Okay, it says make sure the throttle is held open. Okay, we can do that, and it's waiting for its signal. So I need to go to the battery now. So all I'm doing is using my channel A on the battery positive and negative. That's all I'm doing. So battery negative and positive. And battery positive, right? I need to disable the fuel here. Let's disable that fuel. Not only that, we have to take the engine relay as well, engine fuse as well before, otherwise you won't crank properly for some reason. All right, I'm gonna go do a compression test now. All I'm doing is it cranking, that's all I'm doing, okay? So we're seeing about 78% on one of the cylinder, and 85 here, 100, 85. It could be because one of our cylinder is flooded with fuel, right? Because it's been misfiring. So let me just crank it a little bit more again and then come and try the same test. All right, start again. All right, we still have 79% come up a little bit, I think, is it? I forgot that number. So definitely all my cylinder is Not at 100% right, but is that going to be a problem? Is that a problem? All right. All right, it's coming up more as I'm cranking more. I'm just trying to clean that cylinder, just in case it's flooded, okay? That's all I'm trying to do here by cranking it. Let me just keep cranking it, keep cranking it. Let me go and try do one more time. It's definitely coming up as I'm cranking more and more. Compressions are coming up. Let's try again. All right, 82, 88. All right, one more time, and we'll take our final measurement. Start again. Sometimes if the cylinders are flooded with fuel, you know, because of the misfire, it's not going to give us the accurate reading. All right, there we have it. So this is our compression. 181, 192, 187. So we definitely has a little bit less compression, 20%, 19% less compression on one of the cylinder. Is that going to be a problem? What do you guys think? Is that going to be a problem? Okay, Prasanna has says, don't bum the cat, fix it. Customer may get mad if he sees we messed with it. I mean, if it is bad, it's already probably bad. A lot of the time customer continue to drive. They don't have idea about catalytic converters like that. But just for the sake of the video, I'm taking my time, and you know, I'm taking my time, and it is what it is. If it happens, it happens. Matt says, thanks guy, I have to go. Thanks Japan, not a problem at all. Thank you Matt for joining in tonight. All right, so we got the compression result here. What do you guys think? Do we need to go after this compression? It's pretty all right for a 21 years old car, and we know the cylinders has been flooded. What's your take on this, Josh? Should we just disregard this compression and move on? If you ask me, I would say let's not go towards the compression. Doesn't look like a very much of a pressure loss here. Could be just the bad compression rings, you know, cylinders, maybe a blow-by. Do we need to worry about this? I don't think so. It's a 20 years old car, like I said. All right, I'll just get you guys' take on that compression result, and then we'll go into disconnecting that coils and whatnot. Okay, so let me go and see if I can start disconnecting that coils. All right. So probably the best way to just do it is swap that number 6 to number, you know, whatever. We should probably just do that. All right. definitely not an easy one to get to, but we're gonna have to get it done regardless. All right, swapping the coil time. We could have an issue with the spark plug. We still could have issue with injector. Is that possible or not? We could probably get a secondary reading on the scope, but I'm not gonna bother tonight. I may have to put an extension on that coilovers to do a secondary reading, secondary coil ignition reading. So let's not worry about that too much tonight. Let's just get to the problem and let's move on, I guess. Okay. I do not like V6. I don't know why they're still making it. It's just too difficult. I'm just complaining. Cars is difficult in general. We should be getting paid $300 an hour. Right? All right, that's my number one coil. And we'll probably swap that with number 6. The problem cylinder is my number 6, the last one here. Oops, there you go. Battery shorted. Fun. Okay. There's one more. Boom. All right, number 6. There's a lot of oil in there, right? Sometimes oil can, I think, damage the coil. Definitely a lot of oil. Visually looking at it, I don't really see anything been leaking here, sparks. Anyway, let's put it on the number 1. And let's put the number 1 back to number 6. Not number 1, sorry, number 2 cylinder coil. All right. All right, everything's connected back up. Let me go and start the car now. All right. Prasanth said, don't burn the starter too. Haha. I'm not gonna burn the starter, guys. Not going to do that. Prasanna says coil is good. All right, let me go and start the car now. All right, and let me see if that Misfire has moved from cylinder 6 to cylinder 1, right? So let's go number 1. Let's disconnect the number 1. There's a little bit of drop there. Let's try the middle one, number 4. It's almost stalled the engine. It did stall the engine. So number 1, not the number 1, the cylinder number 2 coil, which we brought from the number 6 hull, is not dropping as much RPM again. So let me go back and start it again. Okay, number 6. Yeah, it's almost like to stall the car. So the faulty coil is dropping a little bit. Nope, the Misfire is still on number 6. Okay, the Misfire is still on number 6, guys. Misfire is still on number 6. Did not change. So next step, probably change the spark plugs. Is that right, guys? Misfire has not changed. Okay. Next step, change the spark plug. Okay, coming up. Okay, let me see if I can quickly swap that spark plugs. This is like soaked in oil there. This is going to need a rocker copper gasket if they decide to fix this Misfire, I think. Let me see, I can change that spark plug real quick. I'm just gonna put a battery terminal cover. Okay, here we go. No more starter burning, person. Alright, let me take that spark plug on that number 6 hole out. There's a lot of oil in that spark plug, hole, but I don't think it's enough to hydrolock the engine, so I'm just gonna let it drip into the engine. There you go. Look at that oil dripping out of that. Okay. Visual inspection, I don't see any cracks. The teeth kind of look a little bit worn out, but not too bad. I'm just going to put a new spark plugs. I'm not going to bother changing it from the other cylinder. I do have some spark plugs sitting here. I'm just going to whack something, whatever I can find, same size. For temporary use only, guys. Alright, I found a spark plug, identical length and the same thread. I don't think it belongs to this car, for this car, but anyway, it will work. Oh, don't put spark plugs on a hot engine or you'll crack the head off. Bullshit. That's what I say. We don't have time to wait for the engine to cool down, right? Is bullshit okay to say on YouTube? I don't even know. They might cancel me. Oh, guess cancel me. Sorry guys, I'm just talking to myself at this stage. Alright, everything's plugged back in. Let me go start the car. Before I do that, let me just quickly check this comment. Prasanna says, what did Prasanna has to say here? Fix the oil leak, sell new plugs and coil yet? Looks like it, but there's a new plug now. New plug installed. Let me see if the misfire is gone, right? Let me go and start it. Still misfiring, guys. Still misfiring. You thought the video is gonna be over, isn't it? It's not. I got everything connected. Yes. Still misfiring. Let me just disconnect that for a minute. Yeah, try to stall my engine, that coil. Let me go to the number 6. Yeah, the misfire is still on number 6, guys. Still misfiring. Okay, still misfiring. You guys thought this video is over? It's not over. Still misfiring. Fun. Just change the coil, man, Joshua says. I don't think it's just the coil now. Got to go. Thanks, man. See you all. Okay, Josh. Thanks for joining in. Have a good night. Spark plugs and coil didn't fix the problem. Okay, that's where we're at. Let me see how many people are joining in still. I got a few people on the chat. Let's see if people want to stay. I'll continue. If they don't want to stay, you know, we'll probably close the videos and do it tomorrow. Coil and plugs didn't fix the problem. Well, not really plug, but not really the coil. We just swapped the coil from number 2 to number 6, and we changed. You put a new spark plug. That's where we're at. Guys wanna stay? I'll continue here. Looks like the coil and the spark plug is not gonna fix this car. All right, let's go for a quick few minutes break. Let's have a drink and I'll come back. If you guys wanna stay, I'll be happy. If no one's watching, I'll probably do it some other day. Continue. Okay guys, I'm back. What we got here? Maybe still oil in the cylinder, possible. Prasanna says, or run the engine bit too long and then see what happens to the plug. I can do that for you, Prasanna, no problem. Let's do that anyway. We don't have many people watching at this stage, but let's do a little bit more and then we see what happens. I'm just gonna go and start the car again. It is still misfiring, as you can see. Engine is shaking. I'll let that run for a little bit more. This is still misfiring. Oil shouldn't cause misfire for this long, I'm pretty sure. Let me go and rev the car a little bit. Still misfiring. Alright, still misfiring, guys. Still of misfiring. I'm gonna quickly go and see on my scope if this is the same cylinder or it's a different cylinder. It's this time, just in case. Alright, we're gonna do the same exact testing here. 6-cylinder engine. Come back here, go back there to 0 degree. Put my overlay program. Firing order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's turn that on. Looks like we're still sitting on a number 6 cylinder issue here, guys. Yeah, as you can see. Just zoom that in a little bit more. So number 5, number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're still sitting on a number 5 cylinder misfire here. Alright, that's where we at. Before I move on, I'm gonna just quickly go and see my spark plugs are right. The plugs I use could be bad. Okay, just so we don't have an issue here and we go on a rabbit chase. Let me just do that real quick. This time I'm just gonna use my spark plugs from the number 2 cylinder. Okay, excuse me, we got my lead stuck in there, full of oil, no problem. Alright, number 1 coil out. And this is going to go straight to my number 6. Okay, and my number 6 will go to my number 2 spark plugs, guys. Alright, there we go, done. Let's put the coil back in. Okay, everything's connected back up. Alright, let me go and start the car up. We're still seeing a misfire. Let me disconnect my first coil, number 2. And my number 6. Yep, it's still the same. It is still same. Okay, still same. All right, looks like we're gonna have a different issue here, not coils and plugs. Let's see how many people still watching. Still coil and plug. Prasanna, you still there? What do you guys suggest? Looks like we're gonna have to go after the injectors here. But it's getting pretty late tonight. We may not continue here. What do you guys think? Come back tomorrow and do it? Well, the injector doesn't look like it's very easy to get to. Is there any plugs at the top? We can do some testing. Looks like it's going to be a challenging one here. We've got to figure it out somehow how to test these injectors. Anyway guys, I don't think anyone's watching at this stage. I'm just gonna go offline and we'll probably come back tomorrow and finish the rest of the video. Okay guys, thanks for staying with me. We thought it's gonna be quick and easy. It's not always the case. Alright, thank you so much guys for joining in. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Be safe. And have a good night.